What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome to Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I. So, we talking to y'all. Yes. Officer Tatum. Now, he's going on his little rounds, college campuses, trying to debunk students that, I guess don't really know much about history. Because they're students. And no fault to them. They're probably just there learning something else. But they don't have no real life experience yet. So I think they feel emboldened. The Charlie Kirks and Officer Tatums of the world, when they go to these college campuses and they try to debunk some kids. I don't know. But it could be trying to indoctrinate them and get them to vote their way. I don't know. But I've seen a couple videos. I did a reaction video to Charlie Kirk's debate when he was debating about DEI. And it was crazy because the debate just sounded like he was just telling the brother that black folks are better than white people at everything. The way he was just saying shit like, basketball was trash until black folks came. Sorry, that's what he was saying. And then the game became better when black folks came. And then he was saying shit like, black pilots don't even have to test or read books or be educated. But they still have the ability to fly a plane and land it safely, ironically. And I don't think they understand what they be saying when they say shit like the DEI only allowed them to become a pilot because they black. They ain't got to have no actual education and all the standards were lowered. So that means that they don't need that education. They're just good. That's all I heard. But this is Officer Tatum. He's having his little rounds at these college students. And I guess, he's going to give his opinion on the Gaza situation. So let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, so I'm Ismail. I'm from Egypt. I'm an international student. I just wanted to see your point of view on the international relations that Trump is dealing with right now regarding Ukraine and the one in Gaza. Because I recently saw this video. It was kind of disturbing a little bit regarding Gaza, the way he's looking into the future. So what do you hold on there? What's your point of view?
I got to say, man, I'm probably biased to a certain degree when it comes to the Gazan-Israeli conflict. I do like the fact that Donald Trump is standing firm and giving us a voice with authority and not being a coward and getting pushed over by all these surrounding countries. I think people know that America is serious about their business and they take us serious, and that makes us more safe with somebody like Trump in office. I agree with Trump on the Ukrainian conflict.
Yeah.
We technically, I believe we should have minimal to do with that, to be honest. But there's people that have an argument against that. But I do think that the killing needs to stop. It seems unnecessary. Ukraine has no chance of winning. Not unless anybody somehow believe it. They have absolutely no chance of winning.
Huh. Hey, Douglas Murray said he had feet on the ground. And he could see that Ukraine could win. What are you talking about, Officer Tatum? You ain't never been. I don't know. You probably have been. But if you've never been, according to Douglas Murray, you don't know what you're talking about.
And if it wasn't for us pouring $400 billion into the efforts to help them, they would have lost a long time ago. And people just get killed unnecessarily. Also, Zelensky seemed like he crooked his two left shoes. You watch the way he's so pompous and arrogant to come into the White House and beg for money time and time again. The dude seemed like a fundraiser, wearing these costumes and wearing military garb, and he's not fighting anywhere on any military front. So, and I know the drama that has happened with Biden and Ukraine. So all of that is kind of fishy to me. So I like the.
Now, people that know me know my views on Ukraine. I'm not a fan of Ukraine either. I know how they feel about black folks. Y'all could probably, Google it to see what they were doing when Russia so-called invaded. They wasn't letting black folks flee the country. But I agree. I don't think my tax dollars should be going to Ukraine at all. I agree. That's something we agree with. That we agree on. Tatum, let's see. Keep cooning though.
The fact that Trump is saying, look, we need a resolution here. We don't need people to continue to die. Now, I'm going to get to the bias part when it comes to Israel and Gaza. Now, I believe that the Jews, that land belongs to them.
What?
That's what I believe. The
Why?
reason why I say that is because they've been there before anybody else was there. When you
How? And this is something that people always say. This is the dumbest fucking argument I ever hear about the Israel-Palestine conflict. The Jews are allowed to kill all these innocent women and children because the land was once theirs. They were there first, is what they say. This is what they say out of their mouths. These dumbasses always say that these white Jewish folks, because these are the ones we're talking about. We ain't talking about the actual Arab Jews, but they were there first. They can date their lineage back, even though they don't allow DNA testing in Israel. But Tatum, maybe he don't know or he do know and don't want y'all to know, but it used to be the land of Canaan. There was Canaanites there before Jews or even Israelites. Israelites came from what we know as modern Iran, in some country, I forgot the name, Mesopotamia or some shit. But Israelites came. And then the Jews. So if you want to talk about who was there first, maybe it's the Canaanites. But go ahead. Keep peddling, because we listening. We listening, nigga.
You look at the Bible, the biblical history, you talk about Moses. I mean, you go down the list of all these people. In that region, the Jews have occupied. David.
He didn't know what to say. Because he don't know what the fuck he talking about. Yeah, Moses, I mean, the whole shit, you know what I'm talking about. Nigga, you don't. First of all, as an American citizen, you shouldn't even be peddling this kind of rhetoric, talking about, yeah, I'm biased against the Israeli conflict because the Bible said the Jews were there first. Like, that's an unconstitutional statement. It is. It's unconstitutional because this kid and you and me, we all, American citizens, have the right to a separation of state and religion. So all this Bible talk, they was there first, it really don't matter to us Americans.
David's tomb and the city of David was all there in Jerusalem. Right outside of Jerusalem is the city of David. All of these figures who were Jews were there before any of the Palestinians were there. Some people can argue that some people were technically Palestinian, whatever. There's biblical prophecy about it.
You see how I say whatever? It's just crazy, bro. Like, he has no education on the conflict. Let's let Officer Tatum cook. Let's see if he gonna cook.
It's their land. There was a war that was fought, they won. Now, let's fast forward to today. When you decide that you are going to kill people, take people hostage, they literally tried to bomb and kill almost every Jew they could, but they have the Iron Dome. That's the only reason why they couldn't do it. Then the
Wait a minute. I thought 1,200 people got killed. The Iron Dome didn't stop.
retaliation that comes, in my opinion, is necessary. Do I agree in Israel killing innocent people? I don't want that to be the case. I don't think if an IDF soldier is just going out and shooting a kid in the head outside of a coordinated strike, I don't think that that's right. I think that person should be prosecuted. But to think that Hamas can...
Well, that's happening. So is Tatum saying that he disagrees with it and these people should be prosecuted? These IDF soldiers should be prosecuted? Because a lot of people keep saying, oh no, this is about Hamas. They're using their civilians as human shields. So when a sniper shoots a child in the head, and there's multiple counts of it, even Bernie Sanders has something to say about it. Well, was Hamas behind them or something? I don't know. I don't know. But for Tatum to sound like he has a disagreement, you can't just have that kind of vague disagreement, because those are war crimes, Tatum. And since you can sit there and admit that those were wrong, then you have to go all the way with it's a war crime. And Israel is killing innocent babies. Just say it.
Go into Israel, kill people, hold people hostage, then hide behind their citizens and think nothing is going to happen is asinine to me.
It's a biased topic, like you said. It's hard to really narrow it down to how you just did, because honestly, when you really look at it.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Sorry, when you really look at it, I'm saying 1946 or something around that. That's like Palestinians lived there. You can't just tell me biblical when biblical, like what biblical.
It was before that.
When we talk about religion, you have people all around every continent. How can you be like biblical? But at that point, it was Palestinian people living there in 1946.
Before them,
no. Why did the Jews
it was
go,
Jewish people that lived there.
No, sorry, sir, but why did the Jews go to Palestine? Even to begin with? No, why did they go in like after the Second World War? Why did they go there?
Well, they were forced there.
By who? By the Europeans. So the Europeans up, and then the Arabs just took the fucking blame, right?
I know, but this.
Tell them they were forced there. What do you mean? But think about this. Think about what they're saying. Every time they say, "Oh, we took out Hitler," Churchill took out Hitler with America's help. They were slaughtering all these Jews. We had to protect them. And we won, right? So why didn't the Jews stay in Germany? Why? If Churchill was this great guy, and you guys won against Hitler, and all the anti-Semitism was, I wouldn't say eradicated, but you guys had the upper hand. How were you forced into Palestine?
This happens in history. Like when the Jews were there before, how did the Ottoman Empire get there? From the Romans. It's like the Jews were there, Romans took over, Ottoman Empire took over.
No, you forgot about the Israelites and the Canaanites. But it's okay. It's okay. It's convenient for them to start where they want it to start.
No, we were talking about the way, I'm saying this is the way it goes. The Jews were overwhelmed and overtaken, and that's when the Romans took over. And then the Ottoman Empire took over.
Europe, no,
I'm saying that like somebody had it, they get defeated, conquered, driven out, then somebody else take over, then somebody else take over, and the Jews are back. That's kind of what happened. And people may not agree how it happened.
That's not how it happened. No. So modern day Iranians, well, that's what we call Iran today. They migrated to the land of Canaan, and they met the Canaan people who were also Iranians. All of these people were brown. Let's just call them brown. And those Israelites had a conflict with the Canaanites, and next thing you know, the Israelite movement began. Jews weren't there yet.
Happened
in Israel. You're saying
in Israel, the land of Israel right now, the state of Israel that's currently there. And here's the thing too. I mean, Jordan, the West Bank was Jordan. Nobody had a problem with that. Jordanians own the West Bank, and then
think about that. If the Iranians, like how he said, the West Bank was Jordan. Okay, if that's the case, Israel, the people that won the land of Canaan, the Israelites that beat the Canaanites, they took the land from them. They won, but they were from Iran. Well, what is known as Iran today. It was like northern Iran. Can Iran today claim ties to the land of Israel? Because back in the day, once upon a time. Come on, man. Think about what you're saying. You guys are opening up a whole can of worms that if somebody was smart enough to realize what you're saying, they could look at the laws you're writing behind these claims and take advantage of them. So pay attention, because it wasn't Jews first.
Obviously, it was somehow between them and Israel, there was a compromise or an agreement, and then the West Bank became the state of Israel. So then the Palestinians have an opportunity to be there. Now I'll say this, it's complicated because I understand the argument where some people think that Palestinians belong there, but it is what it is. People are going to agree to disagree on that.
Why don't they belong there? He said people think that Palestinians belong there. Well, Officer Tatum, explain to me, how don't they belong there? Because, like the kid said, somewhere around 1946, it was 1948, that's when the Jews were forced there, right? Where were they forced? To a land? To a desert? In the middle of nowhere? That had nobody there? They didn't have a name? What do you mean? The Belfort Agreement clearly states that in 1917, mind you, 1917, it says that they wanted to create a safe haven for the Jews in the state of Palestine. So Palestine was already there, according to the Belfort Agreement.
Sorry to cut you off, but the thing is, you guys look at it from, because I took history class here, right?
Right.
They look at it from a different perspective. They teaching me in a different way, so you're going to be taught the way they teach you, and I'm going to be taught or admire the way they teach it, right?
Which is fair.
Yeah, which is fair, exactly. But all I'm saying is that based off what I've seen, it's like, I'm sorry, but the stuff you're saying is bullshit. Like, it's not.
I mean, that's just, that's your opinion.
It's not just an opinion, because I've seen it.
So let's do this.
Tell them.
In Hamas situation, what should happen?
All right, look at this.
When they go and attack, kill innocent people and do all that, what should happen as a result?
Have you watched that Bassem Youssef show when he was talking to that one dude, Piers Morgan? Have you watched that one?
No, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Well, yeah.
See? Bad actor. Officer Tatum is a bad actor. He know damn well. Officer Tatum been on Piers Morgan's show. He know because Bassem was on Piers Morgan before Officer Tatum when all this shit happened. When the October 7th attack happened. He's sitting there like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know nothing about it. You do. Come on, man.
Well, if you ever watch it, you're going to understand that topic a little more because...
No, but do you agree with Hamas's attack on Israel?
No, I don't agree with any type of murder.
So
but the thing is, they've been murdering also before that, but nobody... It's the thing is, when the West... when the West controls the media, right? What's going to be put to the...
But we can... Let's agree. Let's agree. Let's agree they've been murdering them. Let's agree back and forth. Let's say Israel was wrong all these years. If you believe that do you believe that Gaza is occupied?
Right now, yeah.
Yes.
By Israelis?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe it's a genocide occurring?
Wait, not Gaza. Because this is how they frame it. They think they slick. Some people don't want to catch them, but it's all right. I'll catch your bitch ass. The West Bank is occupied. Israel is right smack in the middle. They right between the West Bank and Gaza. Gaza was occupied up until 2005. And after 2005, there's a blockade and yada yada. You guys know the history if you do some research. But the West Bank, even till this day, is still occupied. And that's what Hamas has been saying. And you don't want to hear it. It goes in one end out the other. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. Ain't nobody. And then that's how they try to frame it. We're not occupying Gaza. Why are they fighting? Why are they over here doing? Bro, no. You're occupying the West Bank. You're snatching up innocent women and children. And men, that whole innocent women and children shit need to go on because people need their dads too. So innocent men, women, and children, snatching them up, putting them in these concentration camps because that's where the concentration camp is, those Israeli detention centers. They want to pretend like Gaza is not an open-air prison, but people always fumble over themselves. The pro-Palestinians fumble over themselves when they call Gaza a concentration camp when they need to be aiming it towards the detention centers in Israel, where these people are just, some of them have been locked up with zero crime. No crime. Some of them, the crime was they were throwing rocks.
Yeah, I do.
So what do you think their response is? So
What
technically Hamas...
genocide occurring on Palestine?
Yeah, so technically Hamas didn't do anything wrong, did they?
No.
They just retaliated.
There you go.
No. But you didn't catch me.
This is the thing, man. Every person I
talk
talk to, they have to admit that Hamas, that they support Hamas.
So you don't think the IDF is what they're doing? Do you support what the IDF is doing? I'm not supporting either way, but I'm saying.
No. But how is it not a retaliation when over 200 people, 200 men, women, and children, over 200 men, women, and children in Palestine was killed in 2023 prior to October 7th? Either Officer Tatum don't know that, or he doesn't value Palestinian lives. Because if you don't know that over 200 Palestinians were murdered by the IDF, then you need to do some research. That way, when people call it a response or retaliation, it would make a lot more sense to your bias.
No, you are. You just said that.
That's my bad. You ran me, but that's the thing.
No, I just want to know on record. You don't. Do you support Hamas?
No, I don't support Hamas.
Do you think what they did was wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, because you said it wasn't. I want to make sure.
No. See, and then that's how they try to get your credibility. He's a student. They can kick him out if he say anything about supporting Hamas. Officer Tatum, you should see my last video. It was a military exercise. I don't think anybody agrees with a military exercise. Nobody does. But if you want to sit here, like you said, what if all this killing been killing them? Why do you only point out the military exercises from Hamas? Why you don't point out the military exercises from the IDF? Like he said, did you see that Piers Morgan episode with Bassem? Did you see the one with Norman Finkelstein? What's his name? Norman Finkelstein? I think I said Norman Finkelstein. Something. Norm. He talked about mowing the lawn. Do you have any criticism about when Israel mows the lawn and they just sweep through Gaza and kill as many fucking Palestinians as they can? No, you don't have nothing to say. Only when Hamas responds. And the only reason they're responding is because of people like you, Officer Tatum. When you can have in your face evidence of atrocities being committed, and you keep ignoring them. And you're going to keep ignoring them until they respond. And then it's going to be like, why did they do that?
Retaliation, the idea of a retaliation. I'm not
what should they do?
Attack. When somebody is occupying you, hurting your people, what do you do? If you're born around murder, and that's all you've known all your life, which is what they grew up in, the situation. Because I'm from Egypt, which means what? I see a lot of people, Palestinians, flee their country way before what happened with that Hamas situation. Way before that. So why were they leaving? Was it what? Sunshine and rainbows over there? That's why they came over there?
Well, here's the thing.
No, it wasn't. It was horrible.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, obviously, they're not accepting in Egypt either.
What do you mean?
Or in Jordan. Or in Syria.
I mean, you know how, because we get aid from you know how hard it is when you're from a third world country, you can't, how am I supposed to take control over a person?
Right.
The president who's...
But let's get back to this.
Go ahead.
Let's say, do you agree that Hamas's attack was wrong?
Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah.
See, you trying to hone it in again. I think everybody needed to just fight this whole shit. Say it with me. No. What Hamas did was not wrong. Because they're trying to free their hostages out of Israeli detention centers. But what did I just say that was wrong? Hamas went over there, snatched up a whole bunch of IDF soldiers, because that's who they releasing during these hostage exchanges. They snatched up a whole bunch of IDF soldiers. Since they're soldiers, they are legitimate targets. And in the exchange, they getting a whole bunch of men, women, and children out of detention centers that weren't supposed to be there. So how was it wrong? How did it not work if they got their people home? So yeah, you just on the wrong side of history. It's fine. There's a lot of coons like you that eat crow later.
What do you think Israel should do after the attack occurred?
Not what they did.
No, what should they do though?
I mean, not what they do.
Release the hostages. Why y'all don't just put it back on these idiots? Just tell them straight up. Release the hostages. That's what Israel should do. What's so hard about releasing the hostages? If the ICJ want to go and do an investigation, why don't we start with the political prisoners Israel's holding and how long some of those people have been held without due process, without a crime. Let's see how many. And if that number exceeds, whatever, you could pick a number. Let's do the 1,200 number that y'all like to talk. Then could we call this a war crime? Could we call them hostages? Can we all get on the same accord and say, hey, Israel need to release these people? Just say it. Tell them. Israel, release the hostages. And this will all be over with tomorrow.
What should they do? What can they do?
I don't have a perfect solution for a war.
No, give me one.
What is the
give me
solution
one
to
solution.
War?
Give me one
What
solution.
has been the solution for war in history? It's only retaliation, right?
No,
right.
What else happened?
Give me one scenario solution that would have been appropriate.
I mean, the whole thing is up anyway. So what?
No, I'm saying, bro, you got to have a solution. The attack happened. You saying that what they did is wrong. What should they have done?
I don't have one.
Like even that. What do what they did? They got their people home. In the first hostage exchange, it was like in November or something, Israel had let out a lot of Palestinians. And they got some of their hostages back. And this is the first exchange. So if they really want their hostages back, why not do the thing that worked in the beginning? You weren't there, Officer Tatum, when Israel was releasing all of these women that's been there for decades and their faces was all smashed in like they've been beat with the butt of a gun and they had missing fingers. You didn't see that? All those Palestinians Israel was letting out that had no fucking criminal history, no crime committed, nothing. And Hamas decided to release their hostages that they had. Ironically, the hostages that Israel, that was Israeli, they were hugging the Hamas soldiers. They had some kids. One of the kids had a dog. Hamas allowed a kid as a hostage to keep his pet and kept it fed. I don't know. But yes, they're carrying women to the car. Israeli women kissing them. Hope I see you again. What? That's what they saying to the terrorists, the so-called terrorists. So, I don't know. Maybe if you want that kumbaya shit again, that's what Israel should have did. Release the hostages.
What's yours? What do you think?
I think they should be doing exactly what they're doing.
Killing innocent people.
It's not, see, when people break it down like that, listen, when people break it down like that, they think that this happens, which is perplexing to me. They think that Hamas came over and killed all these people and they went back and now Israel's just killing innocent people. Well, Hamas is strategically hiding behind their own people. That's a strategy. They're
you
not.
Actually, you actually believe
Why
in
don't
that?
they fight? Why don't they fight the? Why don't they fight the IDF at the Gaza
With all
Strip?
due respect, you actually believe in that?
1,000%.
That they hide behind 30,000 kids. That's what
They're hiding behind all kinds of
hide
people.
behind kids.
What are they doing then?
Come on, my nigga.
And you just bomb.
No, what are they doing?
If you suspect,
why are they not fighting at
If I
Gaza Strip?
suspect the killer's here, I'm a bomb this whole area. Is that
Right.
the perfect way to deal with something?
It's no perfect way because it's
So
impossible.
you said that's the exact way they should be dealing with it.
Yeah, I didn't say it was perfect. I just said it's the way they got to deal with it.
That's the way they got to deal with it. I remember a lot of interviews early in this conflict. They were fresh interviews. I think October 7th, maybe like a month later, I seen some journalists having an interview with some Hamas leaders. I mean, that's what they said it was. It was a white journalist. She was talking to Hamas leaders, and then she was saying, "Oh, why are you guys doing this? Why don't you release the hostage?" And then the Hamas leader was talking to them. Mind you, the outfits did look kind of big. The mask was kind of oversized. I didn't want to get into the details of it, but y'all go back and look at this. And I was sitting there because that was the time when Biden was saying that Israel was indiscriminately bombing, and they were making excuses about hiding behind human shields, right? And I'm sitting here watching. There's like 5 of them, at least 5 Hamas militants, and this white lady's interviewing them, and I'm like, we can't bomb this building? No, not like that. Not like that. I'm just saying, if we talking about enemy to combatant ratio or to civilian ratio, combatant to civilian ratio, there's 5 of them and 1 of her. Maybe the cameraman too. I don't know, right? So let's say it's, 3 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. So there's 5 and 2 civilians. Why aren't you guys bombing this building? Huh? Maybe because there's a white person in there? And everybody keep asking, if you found a Hamas member in a room full of Jewish kids, Israelis, would you bomb that place? And they wouldn't. But Officer Tatum could literally sit here and say, oh, that's just how they got to do it. It's bullshit, my nigga. It's bullshit.
To just go ahead and kill?
Well, look, if you got, which they shown, if you watch anything on IDF's, they show video and everything of them having bunkers, tunnels. We know they do tunnels. We know they bombing Israel. If it wasn't for the Iron Dome, they probably killed hundreds of thousands of them. But then if you say a terrorist is in this building right here, right? And the terrorists have stockpiles of ammunition and all kind of stuff in this building.
So compared to the IDF, ain't nobody gets that type of stockpile. How you comparing a bunch of terrorists in the desert to IDF soldiers with?
Look, you see, he had no argument. I fucked up, but nigga, there was no stockpile. Sorry, I've been following this shit since the gate. I've actually been following the conflict for long before October 7th. But I remember those stories about the stockpile at the Al-Shifa hospital, and they found this AK-47 by this MR. It was just one gun sitting there. And they was like, look, there's a AK-47 right next to the EKG machine. There's gotta be a military base. Oh my God. We was just sitting there like, damn. Wow.
Actual weapons. How do you compare that?
Listen to this. Well, how did they go into Israel and do what they did? If they so unequipped to do anything.
Did you hear about the story? Please. If you hear about the story, it's so unrealistic. They said they just walked in. Did you hear that? How does that even make sense with the type of security they got?
They flew in, but
please look it up.
In many places they flew in. But you can think about this.
Attack, October,
but you can argue that whatever fraud you want to argue about how they came in or not, do you think they didn't do it?
No, I never said that.
I'm just asking.
I never said that.
So they did it.
Yeah.
We know they did it.
But why is it so amplified when I don't get it, because they've been.
Dude, that was egregious.
I get it. But
they videotaped it.
I thought this was war. I thought that's how things are supposed to be done. Officer Tatum, you just said it. As this guy said, all these women and children being killed, man. You was like, yeah, that's not how you're supposed to explain it. That's just how it's done. They're collateral damage. But Hamas went in, paraglided in, which is neither one of y'all know, and they took a bunch of soldiers, IDF soldiers, and a couple, civilians. But as we know, there is no civilians in Israel because they all have to serve. So, why is it horrific when they conduct a military operation, but it's not horrific when Israel mows the lawn? It's because you're biased, bro. Simple. And you uneducated.
You can go and watch video of them killing and murdering innocent people, shooting them in the head, going into kibbutz. You can see it all on video.
Sir, but what have the IDF been doing? Why is it only one side? Why is it only one side from your opinion? I don't get it.
I'm not saying it's one side.
But that's how it makes it seem because they've been doing this since 2014.
I don't have video of the IDF
You don't have what?
taking Palestinians and lining them up like this and shooting them in the head. I don't have a video.
That video, they were literally IDF soldiers. What Officer Tatum is saying, that all Israeli citizens are off limits, even the IDF soldiers. But as Israel continues to lock up innocent people that have no military ties, mind you, they're locking up people from the West Bank, not from Gaza. They locking up people from the West Bank. Hamas isn't operating in the West Bank, and they ain't gonna claim it either to try to fix this argument. No. So you're locking up innocent men, women, and children, and then you cry when IDF soldiers get taken? Oh, get the fuck out of here, man.
No, listen. I don't have a video of the IDF going into Gaza when these people just peacefully doing what they're doing and killing 1,200 people that are just at a
really?
Doing an event.
I get it.
That means you ain't listening to the stories. There's plenty of stories. Plenty. The IDF done shot actual Israelis before. They've shot Palestinians that were holding white flags. They do this. And because you don't have a video, you mean to tell me this is not happening?
I don't have that video, but I do see video of them going into Israel and killing innocent people and holding hostage. These people are hostages. Acknowledge that they hold hostages. They still have them. When they release them, they're releasing dead hostages. When you do that...
No, they're releasing fat-ass soldiers. These are fat-ass IDF soldiers. Look like they've been eating more food than Hamas. These some healthy-ass women. The last ones that came out, they was smiling. They was walking up the stage with all that energy, and they had their full IDF uniform on. Why do you keep calling them hostages? Those were legitimate fucking targets. Meanwhile, Israel was letting off these people. One of the guys had a fucking oxygen machine. These people were half dead. So, shut up. You really don't know. Why are you even there?
What do you expect Israel to do? They have to respond. And I don't like the fact that children are getting hurt in the process. I don't like that. But they have nothing else to do. This is the tactic that Hamas uses, and everybody should know this unless you're sleeping under a rock. They go out and attack, and then they hide behind their people. They go in the tunnels, they hide in schools, they hide in all these places so they can't get bombed. And they expect Israel to do nothing so they can recalibrate and do it again. Hamas's entire mission is to eradicate the Jews from the river to the sea. Is that not?
He has no argument. He's a token too, just like fucking Jason Whitlock. From the river to the sea. That's all. Shut up, nigga. Shut up. You don't know what it's like to fight for your freedom. You don't. You a coon. You probably that house nigga that was eating with the master. So you don't even know what it looked like to fight for your fucking freedom. And that's all these people have been saying. Since 1948, they've been wanting to be free. Hamas didn't come into power or existence until the 1980s. So if you're going to sit there and tell these Palestinians that they should never feel like they're going to be free and they shouldn't want to be free and just fucking forget about being free, then understand why October 7th happened.
Not true.
Sure.
So, what does Israelis have to do in response? And that is to eliminate Hamas forever. And unfortunately, there's people that's going to die in that situation. And hopefully that we can stop it, and hopefully Hamas is eradicated, and we can go on. But this is a religious war that's never going to stop.
I know. It's the Middle East. It's never going to stop.
See? It's a religious war. Look at how he says this. And then he says Israel is going to do it till Hamas is eradicated. Bro, they just showed us. Before they showed us, they told us that the ideology can't be eradicated. But recently, we just had a bunch of Palestinians returning to their home in northern Gaza. And during the hostage release the last time, a lot of Western media was noticing a lot more Hamas soldiers than before. Almost like you didn't kill many, but you created a lot. So, back to the biblical war, why do we, American citizens, have to fund a biblical war when we have a freedom of the separation of church and state? Why? That's the First Amendment. I should not have to fund a David sling if I have the First Amendment right of the separation of church and state. So, why y'all use that as an excuse for Israel to keep killing all these innocent Palestinians? There's no excuse.
Gonna stop.
Well, yeah. So, all right. Now, can I switch the topic? Because this is
go ahead.
Let me just switch it. So, when it comes to the voting, like just generally Trump and all that, I was like contemplating because it's like the lesser of the two evils to me, right? Because they both kind of have their own views and all that, and the way Trump is dealing with certain things is not, the best. But economically, why are things not improving as much as he has promised? Or is it just the time thing?
Yeah, I think you got to give it time, man. You got to think Donald Trump came into a situation where we were doing poorly economically.
Yeah.
Really? This is why I mean by they're indoctrinating the youth, the up-and-coming next voters. That's why all these people like Ben Shapiro and Charlie and all, they go to these colleges because they know these are the next voters. And they just lie like that. They lie like that. The economy was actually booming when Trump took over. I'm an economist. I don't know who the fuck you are. I know you're an ex-cop, but I don't think you know shit about economics. And I can look you dead in your fucking face and tell you. You know nothing about it. Trump don't know shit about economics. No. And when you can sit there and say, oh, Trump took over a horrible economy, mind you, I'm an active day trader. The S&P 500 was at all-time highs when Trump took office. So don't say stupid shit. You can try to clean it up, like, yeah, I know there's some pain. There might be a little more downturn and a little more inflation when Trump took over. I get it, but just give it some time. And, this is just a kind of unprecedented situation where nobody has ever done this before. Maybe we'll probably bounce back. Smooth it out. But don't be sitting there saying the economy was in shambles. It was horrible. No. Because then you lose credibility with actual people that knows.
And then you have to introduce policies. It's like anything else, man. If you go to change your business model, and then you may feel some pain at the beginning, but over time it's better for the country. So Donald Trump is implementing things that are hard to do, that are difficult, that are challenging, but will have a residual effect. And I'm not just saying that because somehow I like him. I'm saying it because I really believe that that's what Donald Trump's mission is. And you have big, prominent people who are extremely wealthy who are backing and supporting what he's doing.
No, you don't. See, oh, man. Tate, Officer Tate, I need some water. You're lying. I didn't even see Trump's interview when he talked about doing a 90-day pause, right? I'm just an active day trader, so I'm following the market all day, every day. And I can see the bond market tanking. I'm watching it. And I get into it with my Trump supporting friends, and they like, oh, no, this is the art of the deal. Nigga, no, it's not. I'm watching the bond market tank. And I'm just telling myself and them, I'm like, bro, no, these niggas is flying out of bonds. And I'm telling the homies, bro, people are selling our bonds. And if our enemies start selling our bonds, and they can send us back to the fucking Stone Ages. And they don't even understand what that means. And I don't think you do either, Officer Tatum. And this is before I seen his speech on the pause. Because as the bond market was tanking, out of nowhere, Trump says, mind you, I'm in the market. I'm watching the S&P 500 fall. Just out of nowhere, Trump says, all right, I'm going to do a 90-day pause. Boom. The S&P 500 have never, ever in my history, I can even look back and other times, have the S&P 500 ran up 10% in a day. 10% in a day. And that was a complete, because all the homies, they were sitting there, look, the deal is coming through, it's working. Oh, look, the market's coming back. And I was just sitting there like, nah, somebody told that nigga, that you tripping. You don't know what the fuck you doing. Stop it. Chill out. You about to fucking kill our 401k, all type of shit, right? And they arguing with me. And then I go and I see the fucking, the statement. I watched the interview and he said it. He started talking shit. Oh yeah, all these people kept calling me. They was over there worrying. Came up with new names for him. And then he said it verbatim. Oh, the bond market was coming down. I'm like, oh my God, wow. So for you, Officer Tatum, to sit there and say that big, important people agree with Trump and what he's doing, you're just lying again to a impressionable youth that is supposed to be our future generation, the up and coming, and you're not giving them no truth. And it's disingenuous, bro. Sorry.
Kevin O'Leary, billionaire. Elon Musk, billionaire. They're all lamenting to the fact that what he's doing could be economically positive for America.
Really? So you ain't gonna tell the boy that Elon Musk just got into it with Peter Navarro about this tariff shit? Yeah, you just don't want people that actually know what's going on. You don't want to debate those real people. You don't. Go ahead. Go talk to him.
America. I think if he was doing something that would destroy America economically, these billionaires wouldn't support him whatsoever. I think they'll be like, hey, we got to push back. This is not going to be good for our country. But I think that with them, people who make money, the logic.
Notice he didn't say nobody from like Vanguard or BlackRock, you know what I mean? He didn't say none of them. Peter Thiel, he ain't gonna mention nobody that actually disagrees with the billionaires that actually disagree with Trump.
Logic of what he's explaining, I think he's on track to do something positive. We haven't even given him 6 months yet.
Yeah, that's
because Larry Fink had a cold ass statement about what Trump is doing, and somebody need to just sit Officer Tatum down, because I just watched this whole 20 minutes and there was no substance in what he said, and they have to ask him, what is your whole agenda? Like, do you even want to learn some of this shit? Because you sound like the person that Douglas Murray was talking about. Somebody that has no understanding of what's going on the ground. And you're just taking little bits and pieces to come up with this bullshit ass view. And either you don't know some of it or you do and you just don't want other people to know, just to keep y'all in a positive light. But for you to just sit here and say, well, if the billionaires are listening to Trump and they like it, when there's a lot of other billionaires that is calling it out, I don't know. You call it what you want. I could keep calling it coonery. I could keep calling it disingenuous. But the way y'all just look disgusting going to these college campuses, bro, to try to spit this shit, look like y'all scared. First of all, one thing, it look like y'all scared. Like y'all can see that you're losing the narrative on all this shit. The Eurocentric mentality. So we got these black folks to be like, look, no, white folks are right. All type of shit. Y'all mad that nobody's standing for the national anthem no more. We done got rid of Columbus Day and turned it into Indigenous People Day. There was Juneteenth became a national holiday. I can't wait for Juneteenth. Lord knows what this administration is not going to do. But you guys are mad that traditional white way America is changing. It's changing. You got black folks in these positions of power, so now you screaming DEI. I'm sorry. So you can keep on bringing these busters up here to these colleges, but I can guarantee you, these kids are going to be okay. They're going to be okay, because a lot of these kids have been fighting back. Obviously, because you guys have a whole shit about debating them. So there's a whole bunch of kids that disagree with y'all take on shit. And I love it. I love it.
That's fair.
He's 40 days, he's supposed to turn the world around. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but and regarding, like, why is it, like, how do you hold your position when everything in America seems so, everybody's trying to make the other side look bad? So why is it always, like, the goal for me to look good, for me to hurt you? I don't feel like that's the best way. Even with the conflict back home, it's always, I'm trying to make you look bad so I look good. Instead of making myself look good first and actually working on mine and improving my own, you know?
Yeah, what's going to make the country better is not just electing politicians. It's going to be an individual effort, right? We should all take our time and focus on uniting on things that we agree on. And if we do that, I think we'll be a more powerful force than us being divided on stupid stuff that we probably really don't disagree on if we actually did the research and had a conversation with one another. So I think that, the conflict of people trying to one-up other people, trying to go viral, all that is nonsense and stupid to me.
How ironic. That's your whole motto, bro. That's exactly why you're there. You were there as a right-wing fucking token, black token, to say the left is bad. That's the only reason you're there. You're not going to say anything that is economically conducive to any conversation. What are you going to say? Oh, no, look, buy the dip. No, you have no substance for any of these debates. You're literally there to say DEI is horrible. Kamala Harris lost. Biden. Like, Jasmine Crockett, like, y'all don't have any kind of plan to tell these kids why they should even vote conservative, why they should lean conservative. You're not even explaining nothing. Hell, I'm not a Democrat. I have conservative views. I'm like, yeah, maybe we should talk to these kids about working and having a smaller government and keeping more money in your pocket when you work and less taxes. You could talk to them. Yes. Some Democrats do take advantage of the system because the system is there, and they're like, oh, the more kids I got, the more money I can get in food stamps. Yes, they do exist. But Tatum, you are the piece of shit that make it a racial thing. You are the one that make it seem like it's black folks that take advantage of the welfare system and don't want to work, don't want to go to school, don't want to get a job. No, that's just the system. So I'm with you on the system. Get rid of the welfare system. A lot of white women take advantage of the welfare system. But you can't say get rid of the welfare system and scream get rid of black folks out of prominent positions. It don't work that way.
I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I do support conversations and people being open-minded. Do I think that institutions are being overrun by leftist nut jobs? I do. It's prevalent. It's obvious.
All you have to do is be patient, and the universe will drop a nugget right in your lap. This stupid ass nigga just called himself stupid. People that come over here with identity politics and they always want to divide people and paint themselves better than you. I just think that kind of stuff is stupid. But I think the left.
Obvious. I think that is terrible. However, I think the best way to combat that is to have a conversation and to give people something different to think about. You know, I don't think I'm gonna change people's minds out here. I mean, maybe not. People probably not gonna change my mind unless you come with something pretty substantial. But I want people to think about one thing that I said and say, I never thought of that before. And go back and do research and say, oh, that guy's wrong, this is why. Or, dang, he actually got a point. That's pretty much what this is about, in my opinion. I don't like I don't call people names out here. I say leftist lunatics and stuff like that, but that's generally speaking of an ideology.
He knew what that sounded like. I don't call people names. I mean, leftist lunatic, but that's not a name. I'm telling you, that shit, trying to keep up with so much of this grift, that's all they is. They're grifters. When you try to keep up with it, and you start turning yourself into pretzels, trying to remember what you said the last time, and it's like, people see it, bro. People catch it. People know that you're just here as an act. You want people to take away something that you said and be like, nigga, you said nothing. But knock yourself out. Sound like it's raining. So you there for just sitting there getting wet.
Not a person specifically. So I'm hoping that people begin to have a different conversation. Because I think the conversation on campus is one-sided.
There's always one.
I don't know how many people out here that support Trump, but if you came out here with a Trump hat on, people would treat you differently. You came out here with a Biden hat on or a Harris hat on, nobody would care.
I guess I was right. They can see that they're losing the grip on the national narrative. There's too many college kids that are against this right-wing ideology, and they're scared. They're sending all their warriors out. Hey, go over there to these campuses, man, and talk to these motherfucking dumbass kids, man. They don't know what the hell they leaning to the left a little bit. Let's get them straight. Let's get them right. Yeah.
I mean, the conservatives wouldn't care. They'd be like, oh, look at that person. That's weird. But if you come out with a Trump hat, you a Hitler. They gonna put you on a hit list. I'm not saying necessarily on this campus, but on many campuses. How do I know? I went to University of Washington, and I had a Trump hat on, and I got not physically attacked because people understand how that worked, but people attacked me and said that I'm a traitor to my race and all this stuff because I had a Trump hat on. That just says "Make America Great." What's wrong with making America great?
What honestly made you support that side?
No, that's not why. What? No, you're just a coon, bro. It ain't got shit to do with you being a Trump supporter. No. You're just lying again. What we're saying is that You only sit there and talk about crimes that black folks commit. You don't give a fuck about anything. Even you say this is your boy, right? Trump is your boy, right? You a Trump supporter. I even seen where you say you went to some event and Trump shut down the crowd. Everybody was like, Trump, right? And I'm just sitting here wondering, if you love Trump so much, when are you going to do a video about the kid who threatened Trump's life? Are you ever going to say anything about this kid, Nikita? I don't think you are. And I honestly feel like it's because he's not black. But mind you, think about this. This kid killed his mom and his stepdad. And he had a manifesto. And he was ready to kill your dear leader. And you will not cover the story. Why?